All right, so happy Monday, mamas. Today I want to talk about the 3 things that are going to happen. It doesn't matter if you birth your baby in a hospital or you birth your baby in a bathtub at home. It doesn't matter if you have a C-section or you birth them naturally, 0 medication, get the tap in your back. It does not matter. These 3 things I want to make you aware of. I also want to take some time to talk about warning signs and things you need to look out for up to a year postpartum. Because a lot of moms have the potential to be groggy or, just not in their right frame of mind when they leave the hospital, when hospital staff may or may not go over this paperwork and the warning signs. Some hospitals might just hand you a packet, and no one actually reads it to you, and then you don't think twice to open it up and go over it. So, starting with the 3 things that are going to happen postpartum. And yes, I am parked at the gym again doing my video, and that is okay. So, first thing, lochia. Lochia is the postpartum bleeding. This is a postpartum channel. We're going to talk about body fluids. Lochia is the postpartum bleeding that happens after you birth your baby. The first 3 to 4 days, your blood can be expected to be a bright or dark red, and it is heavy. Cramping is common and blood clots do occur. Later, when I talk about warning signs, we're going to talk about how it needs to not be equal to or larger than the size of an egg. In that instance, you want to talk to your healthcare provider. And again, let me put this out there. I am not a healthcare provider. I took a postpartum doula training. So everything that I'm talking about today was covered in my doula training. I am not a medical professional. Please contact your medical professional if you feel like you need to. So the first 3 to 4 days, your blood is bright, dark red, and heavy. Cramping is common. Clots may occur. The next 10 to 14 days postpartum, you can expect pink to pinkish brown colored blood, and it should be lighter than before. It should start to lighten up. Clots can sometimes still happen. Everybody is different, and everybody has differences when it comes to their bodies. I know I touch on this in my blog post where I talk about how it's common, but that's not super reassuring whenever we are in the postpartum and we might need assistance. Another thing I don't think I wrote in my postpartum blog that I am now going to go back and edit. So I'm going to go back and edit it and add this little disclaimer in. Your blood should not revert back to the previous stage, right? So if you're in day 3 to 4 and it's heavy, that's fine. You go to the following few days. If it gets darker, it goes to being heavier, contact your healthcare provider because we just want to check that out. You want to check that out. Not to insert fear in anyone, just to be knowledgeable, because the more informed we are, the better decisions we can make. After those 10 to 14 days, the following few days, you can expect a yellowish white to clear color with your fluid. It should be lighter in the amount until eventually it's just spotting. And spotting can happen. Spotting is super common. Do not use tampons, Diva cups, or anything that needs to be inserted. Don't do that. Instead, use a pad or the disposable panties or something that will catch the blood. Do not insert to try to absorb the blood. No, you have a giant wound on the inside of your body that you don't realize how big it is, but it's huge. It's really fun to learn about, but not for this video. The second thing, fun fact, you're going to have colostrum and leakage and fluid coming from this area. But Jana, I don't want to breastfeed. I decided I'm using formula for X, Y, or Z. Your body doesn't know that. You do you. Your body's still going to produce. Colostrum is milk. That is your milk coming in. But what the typical person thinks about their milk coming in, or my milk came in, is about 3 to 4 days postpartum. And that's when the the white milk comes in and the colostrum kind of dies down and the protein is lower. Colostrum is really high in protein compared to the rest of the breast milk, but again, another video. When you have a baby and your placenta detaches from the body, your body triggers itself to go, okay, it's go time. We're going to make milk now. If you decide to not latch your baby at all, give it 3 to 4 days, your body will send the signals to start drying up. It's normal. It happens. If you're not expecting it, you might go, what? And then be very confused and concerned that your body is leaking, right? Just like in pregnancy, some women may or may not have experienced the leaking there with the colostrum. The last thing I want to talk about for the 3 things that you need to know about postpartum, and then of course we're going to talk about warning signs. But the last of the 3 things is poop. Postpartum channel. There is no TMI here. Your first postpartum poop. Do not strain yourself. Take it easy. I can recommend books that literally talk through how to poop your first time when you go postpartum. You should not strain. Do not strain your body. Even with a C-section, it could potentially take longer for that first postpartum poop to pass. My nurse was like, okay, if you're at least passing gas, we're good. Your healthcare provider can provide stool softeners or recommend the kind for you to get. Do not go grab stool softeners just because you saw this video. Again, I'm not your healthcare provider. Thanks. But poop, your postpartum poop. It is an interesting experience. It is something you will probably remember. What I do recommend though is squatting, right? So get a stool, put it up to the toilet so that your legs are in a squatting position because of how the sphincter and your colon line up. With traditional American toilets, we sit in a way that's like a chair. That does not actually give our body the most, it doesn't benefit our body the most. It's better to be in a squatting position. So if you put a stool where your legs are up, I really should have included a diagram, but instead of cutting off your sphincter, it makes it more of a flowy thing, which isn't the most professional way to say that, but we're mamas, we're real here. Squat when you poop. Okay, so next I want to talk about warning signs that you need to look for up to a year postpartum. Remember post, right? So if any of these 4 things happen, call 911. Pain in your chest, obstructed breathing or shortness of breath, seizures, or thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else. For mamas who have C-sections, there can be pain up in your shoulders. That is from air getting trapped in your body when they cut you open. Fun fact. There's really no medicine or anything for that, or at least there wasn't at my time when I had a baby and at my time of this training. It just kind of passes naturally. But when we look at post, we talk about pain in chest. Use your discernment. Use your intuition. Mother's intuition is just, it's spot on. Just trust it. Contact whoever you need to contact. Call your healthcare provider if any of these 5 things occur. You want to remember the acronym BIRTH, right? So bleeding, if you're soaking a pad within 1 hour, or blood clots the size of an egg or bigger, right? We touched on that. Incision that is not healing, so those who had incisions. Red or swollen leg that is painful or warm to touch. Temp of 104 Fahrenheit or higher, or a temperature of 96.8 Fahrenheit or lower. A headache that does not get better even after taking medicines, or a bad headache with vision changes. There is a wonderful little flyer that is provided that I'm going to also put in, either I'm going to comment it or I'm going to put it in the description, depending on what platform you're watching this on. So it'll also be in my blog, right? So you can go to favoredfeedings.com and you can see my blog post where I type out, if videos aren't your thing, where I type out a lot of what my informational videos talk on. not my shorts, but my longer videos that are, you know, over 5 minutes. You can also just learn more about postpartum doulas and more about postpartum, because my goal is to create a virtual village community that keeps you informed with reliable information. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like, subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, because that would be great. Have a great day and happy Monday.